Hey guys, Erik Kyle here, publisher Great Lakes Scuttlebutt Magazine, and I'm excited to be joining you from our Zoom room. Today we have a very special guest, Michelle Burke, who's the president of the Lake Erie Marine Trade Association. Here in Ohio, we have been very fortunate to be able to be considered as an essential business, the whole marine space. And Michelle has helped lead the charge on that. So we're grateful to her, and just wanted to check in with her today to give us a little bit of an update. What's going on with the boating space here in Ohio? Michelle, how are you today?
Oh, good. You totally froze there for a second, but now you're back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Internet connections. You never know what's going to happen.
I know, and everybody's watching Netflix now, so what are you going to do?
Exactly. The Tiger King will never go undone.
Did you watch it?
I did not all of it. I watched a couple little pieces of it and figured that I don't want to lower my IQ anymore.
It's a little addictive.
What can you do? So, Michelle, president of LEMTA, the Lake Erie Marine Trade Association, tell us a little bit about what is the Lake Erie Marine Trade Association and what do you do there?
Well, actually, first, Erik, what I'd like to point out is that I showered for you and did my hair today. As I've been working from home, and this is not essential. Lake Erie Marine Trades Association actually was founded by a group of boat dealers back in 1963. And as I understand it, the main goal of the association was that they wanted to own and run and operate their own boat shows. Also, sort of as there's power in the collective, they realized that for the purposes of lobbying for the boating industry, that having an association that pulled in a group of dealers was very powerful, much more powerful than just an individual broker, or boat dealer trying to go himself to, Columbus or Washington, D.C. to lobby for the industry.
Right. So amongst the coronavirus outbreak, the Lake Erie Marine Trade Association played a critical role in helping us to establish the marine industry as an essential business. What has been your role in that, and what does that mean for Ohio?
So I will say I'm really blessed. So I'm the fourth president of LEMTA. There's a gentleman, Norm Schultz, who was president for 34 years, and then Ken Alvey, who was president for about 12 years. So the two of them are mentors for me. I talk to them almost daily, and I think, their wives are kind of sick of me, but they really, it's wonderful because they've been through lots of tough times and lots of different situations, nothing like this pandemic. But those two and the brain trust of Tom Mack, who's the chairman of our board, and Jim Armington, who's a boat dealer who owns Buckeye Sports, we all got together with Amanda Sines, our lobbyist, and immediately put a plan together of how we were going to approach the governor on making the argument that boating was essential and to keep the boating industry and the boat dealers working through any kind of shutdown. And part of that was the personal property. The boat dealers are holding property, servicing that property, and then wanting to launch that property. The other part of it, and Governor DeWine, I think, has been especially in tune to mental health, stress as a result of being quarantined. And we brought to light, what a stress reliever boating is. Now, if you know the governor, he does like fishing, and I think that helped us very, very much so, but I don't think he would have done anything if he didn't feel it was safe. So we presented our situation, and he actually kept us in the essential class, which allowed our boat dealers to keep launching and servicing boats to get people out on the water. Because, of course, anyone who follows you knows what a wonderful stress reliever boating is and being on the water.
So it wasn't necessarily just, Michelle, about making sure that marine businesses stayed open during this outbreak. It was about being able to make sure that boaters could have access to enjoying their lifestyle.
Well, and that really was a main focus for us. The other part of this is the tourism side and the planting the seeds of future Ohioans who are now tourists in their own state. So those that know my story know that a few years ago when my husband said, let's get a boat, I told him he was nuts and that we weren't getting a boat. And I didn't understand why we needed a boat. Well, I succumbed to the pressure. We got a boat and it changed our lives. And we used to do the whole Hilton Head vacation every summer. And, once we got a boat, as I say, every weekend is a vacation, and we stay and spend our tourism dollars in the state of Ohio. So that's another thing that we presented to the state as far as supporting this industry, supporting the continuation of it, and especially the biggest part was letting people have their personal property and have that stress reliever out on the water.
So the organization Lake Erie Marine Trade Association is not necessarily the lobbying group, Michelle, that uses your power to go into Columbus or indeed into Washington. There's another name for this organization. What is that?
It's the Boating Association of Ohio. And so the Boating Association of Ohio, or the Boat PAC, is what the entity that is part of LEMTA, or that LEMTA oversees, that supports the lobbying side of things. So really we are helping the boating industry in the entire state of Ohio, not just the Lake Erie area.
Okay. What has been the response to the marine industry during this COVID-19 outbreak? How are they communicating with their boaters? Right now, if you wanted to go into a boat showroom today, how do you communicate with those guys in order to get your vessel, get it out on the water? What do you got to do?
Well, so all of our dealers, I think, have done a fantastic job. So as far as getting boats into the water that people currently own, also marinas were allowed to stay open, again, practicing proper social distancing for their employees, with customers that might come on site to want to work on their boats, and sanitizing their facilities. So we have kept the entire industry open and going. We have also been allowed to keep boat sales going. Now, initially, we did not ask the governor for sales. We were allowed to keep our showrooms open, but all of our dealers chose to pretty much keep them sort of low key. They had on their websites, call this number if you want to see a boat. They're still doing this, virtual tours. You can walk into a boat showroom now, that has been covered, and they are open, following all the new rules that just came out. Everybody has to wear a face covering. The boat dealers are doing everything they can remotely, and then when a person wants to come in and touch and feel the boat and write up a deal, they make an appointment so that they're only having one family in the dealership at a time.
Okay.
And as far as marinas go, they too, I just got a question today from one of our member marinas asking about distance between boats, and do they have to be 6 feet apart and things like that. And we don't expect them to move the boat slip so that they're actually 6 feet apart, but they do have to tell the people who are on those boats to maintain proper social distancing.
Excellent. Well, you guys have been doing an absolutely phenomenal job. And personally, I just want to thank you very much from being not only a business here in Ohio that's related to the marine industry, but also a boater that loves to go out on Lake Erie and go fishing, go sailing, or just go cruising around. If I wanted to participate in trying to continue the efforts of the Boat Ohio Association, where can I go to find out more information or even make a contribution?
So we have a couple sites. We have the Lake Erie Marine Trades Association website, which is under the process of being redone. We just launched the consumer face of what we do aside from the shows, which is called On the Water Ohio. And this is a place that your viewers will need to, or be able to, get more and more engagement about just being near the water, on the water, and boating and other water recreation. But most importantly, I think boaters, if they want to give us a little thank you for keeping them on the water, is supporting our boat pack. I believe you're going to be able to put up on your screen there, Erik, the address where people could send a personal check over to us to support the boat pack. That would be most appreciative, because that's the fund that goes to support our lobbyists and our lobbying efforts in both Columbus and Washington, D.C. And that comes to everything from taxes on gas to ramps and keeping ramps open. We're trying to work on a boat tax holiday right now. I don't know if we'll get it or not, but we are certainly pushing for it, and many other things that protect the boaters.
Well, there are so many things that go on in the marine space behind the scenes by people like yourself and the people that are involved in that organization. On behalf of all of our readers and indeed boaters here in Ohio, I just want to extend to you a big thank you, Michelle. We greatly appreciate all the work that you guys do, and thanks for your time today. The update has been fantastic, and we'll look forward to seeing you out on the water.
Erik, I think that because I didn't grow up boating and fell into it much later in life, I'm so passionate about it. And my role at LEMTA, I am constantly always looking at how do we keep people on the water? How do we introduce people to the water? And I will keep doing that.
Well, we greatly appreciate everything that you're doing over there, Michelle. Thanks so much again, and have yourself a wonderful week, and hopefully be out there on the water soon.
Thanks, Erik.
Take care.